What's good, everybody? Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you guys with a preview for tomorrow's second eye test of the preseason for the Seahawks versus Vikings. I am joined by on the speakerphone by NorbCam. NorbCam, say what's up.
What's up, everybody? NorbCam coming at you, joining Sam Dog for this preview video, and thanks for having me on, man.
Oh, no problem. Anish has been talking to me about trying to do this with you sometime, doing some sort of videos, whether it be before a game, after a game. So let's get into this. What do you want to see to start out? Because obviously we're probably going to see some first-string actions with our first-string defense. I mean, last time they kind of drove down our throats and we were able to get that stop with some of our second strings. Would you kind of like to see the pass rush improve this game to begin with?
There's definitely a couple things I'm looking forward to seeing in this game. Like you said, I think we're going to see a little more starting players in action this time. So just on the offensive side, we haven't seen Russell Wilson yet. So I want to see how Russell Wilson has a connection with his receivers. Particularly, we didn't really see DK get his breakout game. He was just a couple inches away from a couple of great catches. But I think Russell has the skills to put the ball in spots that maybe Gino couldn't do in the first game. So I'm looking forward to seeing a few connections with these new receivers. From the defensive side, I thought our line, our pursuit was a little porous. I thought we gave up a little bit too much on the defensive side. So with some of our starters in there, I'd like to see, a little more pass rush and definitely a little bit less big rips on the ground.
The positive that came out of that first one last week was Cody Barton getting that key stop on one of their runs, and we were able to hold Flacco and Denver's first string to just a field goal to limit the damage. But yeah, Geno Smith missed DK on a couple throws. One of them a botched snap, but I'm anxious to see. That's why I said to one of my other viewers that commented on there, wait until Russell is throwing DK the ball, because I think Russell and DK are going to have a better chemistry right now from what we've been hearing about in camp. But I would love to see that Russell and DK Metcalf connection happen in the preseason. And maybe another one I'd like to see, is Russell Wilson throwing the ball more to Jazz Ferguson. Jazz Ferguson is one that really stood out to me on the offensive side of the ball, and he's 6'5", and he would make a great red zone threat for whenever we're in the red zone too. So I would love to see a lot more of Jazz Ferguson too.
Yeah, he was, I think, the surprise standout in that first game. I think we expected DK to do what Jazz did, and it was kind of the opposite of what we had expected. But we also have to keep in context what was going on, who was in at that point in the game. We're playing through a lot more backups at that time.
Yep.
I think that Paxton Lynch had a little bit more time to throw.
Paxton was showing the wheels last week.
Oh yeah, he showed some speed, something that I don't think people were really expecting that much out of. So that was impressive. So yeah, he did a good job, and he put the ball in the money. So again, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of, we talk a lot about this in the past about Keeson Williams a few years ago, just making a huge splash throughout preseason, and everybody was shocked when he didn't make the team. But then he was kind of out of the league not too long after that. So obviously it wasn't just the Seahawks didn't see something, but sometimes what you see in a preseason, just highlight reel doesn't necessarily, translate into that receiver, making the team and then, having a long time career, So I think it's one game, it was in the second half of the first preseason game. Let's see if he can do it consistently. And that's, I think, going to be the challenge. We had a lot of wide receivers, so there's a lot of good talent, probably the most stacked position group on the Seahawks right now. So someone's going to get left cut from the team, and it's probably going to be somebody who's pretty good,
Yeah.
someone else will pick
One
up.
person was telling me that he wouldn't be surprised if we replaced David Moore with Jazz Ferguson, and Hawk Blogger doesn't think, one of the guys from Hawk Blogger doesn't think that Jazz Ferguson will be on a team, and I hope that Jazz Ferguson proves him wrong. I just hope that he's proven wrong by Jazz Ferguson, because he showed some flash, but I like to see him do it against first string defenders though too. Defensive side of the ball, I've been really impressed with Cody Barton too, especially like I mentioned earlier with what he did in the first preseason game. I hope he can keep it up. I just hope that we can just establish a pass rush. I mean, keep in mind Bobby Wagner's not playing. Keep in mind that Ziggy's recovering. LJ Collier's hasn't even seen the field yet. We just gotta hope that whoever's like, I think this is going to be like, we got to count on the bench, to step up and make plays on defense, where this year and last year, like kind of like last year, this is finally an opportunity where we have to count on the offense to win us games. And I like when it's that way, where we have to where we can count on the offense to win us games instead of just the defense. Because if we keep long drives going, then our defense, can get rested up on the sidelines, which is one thing my dad's been talking about the past few years with how our defense has been gassed because our offense couldn't keep long drives going. So hopefully it's that kind of year.
Yeah, it seems to be gearing up that way. Obviously, the bulk of the money going to Russell Wilson, and the offense. We've just got a lot of weapons now, from receiver to running back. I think our O-line is in as good a shape as it's been in a while. Hopefully, if we can keep these guys healthy. Tight end's a good position there. So, I feel like the offense has got a lot less question marks than the defense does. The defense, I think, is obviously the one that's really been shaken out over the last few years to what we have now with mostly new guys. And but Cody Barton, yeah, he's one of those standout new players who's really showing stuff, not just in games so far, but in practice he's really been a standout. So I think no matter what, I think he's going to make the team. The question now is, we got a lot of good linebackers, KJ, Bobby,
Ben Burke-Hervin.
That's just,
Ben Burke-Hervin.
Yeah, Ben Burke-Hervin too. So it's just, I think it's a matter of how long, there's going to be injuries at some point, and that's when you rely on those guys to step in and not have much of a drop off. And I think Cody Barton's going to be one of those guys who's going to be, he may not be starting early on, but he'll see some playing time. And it's nice to feel like there's some young up and coming guys who look like they could be stars later on. He looks like one of them.
Big time. But also, I tell you what, though, another person that really stood out to me on the defensive side is Marquise Blair. Marquise Blair has made some pretty great plays. That hit he had, which obviously with the penalty, which he hit with the wrong shoulder, but that hit to me was very reminiscent of Cam Chancellor. I love what Marquise Blair brings to the team. Very reminiscent of Cam. Hope that he can hit hard like that. But like you mentioned, we just got to avoid that injury bug, and let's just hope that injuries don't plague our season. But I like what Marquise Blair brings to the table.
Yeah, no, I love that player too. He was a hitter coming out of college, and I think they drafted him for that reason. They want a guy who can attack the ball, who's got speed and good instincts, and likes the contact. And clearly he does. Yeah, he got penalized for that one, but at this stage of the game, it's kind of nice to see that. Kind of get that intimidation factor, that reputation going out there. That's kind of what happened when the LOP first started. When we started having guys like, besides Chancellor, we had
Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman,
Brandon Browner, who would just mess people up. He was kind of, you can almost define him as a little bit dirty in the way that he played, but it just got that reputation that you don't mess around the Seahawks secondary. And it's nice to see some guys who are not afraid to hit. Tedrick Thompson too, he's a hitter too. So,
Tedrick can bang him.
A couple of guys back there.
Tedrick can hit. Obviously, Blair can hit, and hopefully we can get a couple. Hopefully, though, we got guys with hands to get the interceptions as well. Because one of the things I loved about back in the LOB was the number of interceptions we would get, and some of them pick sixes as well. We got to get that factor back in our secondary defense, and hopefully, if we can get that going again, I would like to start the era which would be known as Boom 2.0.
Right. Yeah. Boom 2.0, or some new derivative of a nickname that defines this new group. But I think it goes hand in hand with, we got to get the pass rush too, because without a pass rush, you're not helping out the coverage. So
and the pass rush the pass rush in 2013 was the big reason. Pass rush in those days was the big reason why our secondary was so good too, because we were getting pressure, forcing bad throws that were picked off, and we need to get that quarterback pressure again, like pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, because that's why we were able to win all those games, and obviously win Super Bowl 48, because we were able to hit Peyton Manning the way that we did. I mean, when you have a good pass rush, that will end up having a major impact on your secondary too. So if we can get that going again, we'll be set. But hopefully on the offensive side, I mean, Mike Solari has done a good job with the offensive line, and it showed last year with the way we were playing, like getting open holes for the running backs and quarterback protection, which hopefully we we just got to, try to limit the number of sacks Russell Wilson takes. But then again, Wilson does have to, when some of the sacks he takes, one of the flaws he's had his whole career was, like sometimes he holds on to the ball too long. He needs to learn to get rid of the ball quicker. But if we can just get more protection where Wilson can throw a lot of deep balls with this receiving core we had, that would be really great too. But Schottenheimer needs to not limit him and just let Russell be Russell and make the plays we need to be, and not just, like where we ran the ball too much and we got, outplayed in the trenches by Dallas in the playoffs last year, So we lost that game because we got outplayed in the trenches. Both sides of it, too, to be honest. So we got to get our trenches going good this year, too, if we want to have any chance,
Right. Well, it's all about balance, and I think bringing up that Dallas game, it was one of those things where Seattle did commit to the run a little too long, because when Russell did throw the ball, he was extremely accurate, and we were very effective, but they just waited too long and didn't do it enough. So, but yeah, there was definitely some things that could be, we wish we could have done differently in that game. But looking ahead now, I think that's one of the things the offensive line's definitely going to have to improve on is the pass protection. Some of it is Russell Wilson's fault. I think sometimes he hesitates to pull the trigger on some of those crossing routes, and I don't know if it's that thing where he just can't see it because of his height and doesn't want to pull the trigger, throwing into some unseen territory. True. Or if it's just him for whatever reason not trusting in wanting to make the risk of the interception. He's been very good at protecting the ball, so I think what happens is he doesn't pull the trigger when he's in doubt, so then he takes a sack instead of the interception. So the question would be, is it worse to throw the interception?
Or be better to take a sack? I'd rather see him take a sack than an interception.
The ball, and that's one of Pete Carroll's main mantras. So I think he's just following that philosophy and trying to not force something that's not there. But I think sometimes it's there. He just doesn't pull the trigger because he's super accurate. But it's sometimes a really small window. But it's a trade-off. It's a balance. So again, like pass rush to defensive back coverage. Same thing with the offense. Pass protection. You get the pass protection, you get more time to have those deep balls to DK. They're going to be available, and the other routes to develop. So I like to see Russell run it a little bit more too when it's there.
Yep.
Just because that read option, I think is still going to be run it all the time, but I think every once in a while it's going to be a thing that he can do. He's still fast and
he can still thrive off the read option too. Another thing is, let's see be interested to see what we can do, because if we have first stringer out there, and then obviously Minnesota's first string defense out there, hopefully, and we know how good of the pass rush Minnesota got with Danielle Hunter and a couple other big time names they got out there, and then Harrison Smith as safety. How well can our first string offense do? Can we get the first score of the game on our first possession? I mean, that'll be a real test. If first string can score, then that's everything good that we need to know about our first string offense. But I mean,
scoring would be nice, but I just want to see it move the ball. They could just move the ball with efficiency and just get first downs, control the clock, run it, pass it. Even if they don't finish with a touchdown, it'd be nice to finish with a touchdown. But even if they sit down and score a field goal, but control the clock and make a good first drive against the first team defense, that would say a lot for our offense, seeing it for the first time with mostly starters. And
then, of course, obviously, defensive side, getting pressure on Kirk Cousins on the first time around with our first string would be a good sign too. I mean, trying to stay on the topic of our preview for our game against Minnesota and just preseason for eye test number 2. But yeah, if we can if our rookies can still stand out and the bench can, go out there and get some pressure, shut down the run, and get some sacks on Kirk Cousins, and then secondary shut down the receivers, that would be a good sign too for the first string to know what we possibly have. And then, of course, once we get the additions of Ziggy Ansah and LJ Collier for the season, that would be a good sign too. And then tight end position, like you mentioned earlier, we got Will Dissly coming back. Hopefully Dissly can get back to where he left off to, and then be interesting to see what Van Nett does. And obviously Dixon, I'd be all right if Ed Dixon missed week 1, but because I know he's getting a little older. But Dixon had a good effect last year too.
Oh yeah, he was very effective. Scored some touchdowns, and he's a solid part of that crew. Again, tight end feels like another one of those very very solid position groups. It's just a matter of who's going to get the starting position. But I'm sure we'll see some double tight ends, so we'll definitely see a lot of tight end action. The other thing you brought up about Ziggy Ansah and LJ Collier, we feel a little shorthanded just because we got Ziggy's still recovering from injuries now. He's got that groin issue that he's got to work through as well. We got LJ with his ankle issue, and then of course Jaron Reed with a 6-game suspension. So I feel like if we can get through the first 6 games of the season at above 500, which means we'd be 4-2. I feel pretty good because all of a sudden you feel like the cavalry's coming after that, from a pass rush standpoint, and I'm sure those other guys, LJ and Ziggy, will be coming in sometime in those first 6 games, I would think. But it's that Jaron Reed factor too, that he's just not going to be there for the first 6 games. But when he does come in, hopefully he can come back in and be like last year. And if he can do that, it's just like getting a free guy, another pass rusher and an awesome D tackle just suddenly inserted into your lineup that you didn't have for the first 6 games. So, that's the nice part, is that we'll have more coming in over time. We just got to hang in there and get off to a good start to the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Excited though, man. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be awesome. Anyway, I think we just passed a minute over our 15-minute mark that we were trying to get. You think did we get everything out of the way that we needed to say?
I think one last thing is we didn't talk about special teams. I thought Jason Myers showed his leg off. Hit a nice long 55-yarder. Kind of missed that first 56-yarder a little wide, but the 55-yarder
that was tough.
Was good.
He got his confidence back after the 55-yarder, so I like that.
Yeah, he seemed to just be pushing the ball. Every one that he made was right on the edge of that right upright, and the first one was way off to the right. So I think he just seemed to be pushing the ball that day. But it just to me shows me, the fact that he can hit a 55-yarder in Seattle. That's a good sign for our kicking game to come.
That's
Michael Dixon was a
everything
little bit off. He didn't seem to have the booming power that he's had. Some of his punts seemed actually a little on the short side. So I'd like to see a few more booming kicks on the indoor stadium of Minnesota.
Heck yeah.
Because I think we have a great kicking game. So they're going to be an awesome duo throughout this year. So
True
it'll be
that.
fun watching this. It's never a boring time when the special teams come out. From field goals to punts, it's something to look forward to. Even though you're at that point of the game, you don't like to have to kick field goals. You don't like to have to punt the ball. But when Michael Dixon gets out there, there's a certain bit of excitement to watch to see what he can do with
He's
that
got
ball.
great hang
Taking
time,
60 yards out of here.
and he can put it inside the 5-yard line. Anyway, I think now that's everything, right?
Yeah, I think that's everything, man. So,
Okay.
I'm going to watch this game tomorrow.
All right, so y'all, thank you guys for tuning in, and also make sure to subscribe to NorbCam. I will put the link to his channel in the description, and then, of course, if you like what you heard from us and what you've seen, make sure to hit that like button and then bang that subscribe button. And, tomorrow I'm going live. I'm having Dallas over to watch the game with me, and we're going to go live and react to it, too, so make sure you guys tune into that. And if Norb's going live, tune in for him, too. But yeah, that's basically what we got to do. Norb, thank you for coming on.
You bet. That was fun, man. Thanks for having me on there.
And until the next one, Sam Dog Infamous 253, go Hawks. And remember, if you ain't with it, you ain't infamous.
You're infamous.
As
All right,
always,
man. Go Hawks, everybody.
go Hawks.
Talk to y'all later.